This is the Italian-made VM engine. It's the 3-litre diesel that is fitted to the WK2 Jeep Grand Cherokee. What we've got here is a teardown that we've just finished actually, and I'll show you the carnage of what's happened in here. This is a common issue with these, and it's the big end bearing spinning. So we've actually done another teardown of these. This is a customer named Peter who has actually specifically requested that we tear his down, so we have. And we found the problem. Normally what happens with these is cylinder number 5, so the second from the end, the bearing fails. What we've got on this one, which is the first time we've seen it, is actually number 3. Yeah, number 2 is still in. Number 3 has failed. So if you look at the scoring there, that crankshaft's copped a hiding. All right, so this is cylinder, I think this was number 1. I can't actually remember now. It's not important because this is all going in the bin. But this is how it should look. I mean, you shouldn't really have that scoring there on the bottom of the con rod. But basically what happens is this is half of a bearing that sits in there. And then the film of oil sits here and on the underside of that. There's technically, at a microscopic level, little to no physical contact. It's all running on a thin film of oil. So that's when everything's working swimmingly well. What happens with these is, it is my belief that the combination of the 8-speed transmission and this engine and too much labouring, so usually in vehicles that have been used for towing, and people are using the top gear, for whatever reason causes these bearings to get hot. So this is the end cap for number 3. You can see it's done a lot of scoring here. If you have a look at it side on, you can actually see the discolouring. It's gone black, and I don't know if the light will show there. There's a bit of blue and purple. This is beyond repair. That has gotten very hot. But what I'll show you is what's actually happened to the bearing. Is it's spun in there and then fused itself to the con rod. So that shouldn't sit like that. It should look like that. So that's pretty serious. I've never seen it do it on cylinder 3 before, but that doesn't really mean anything. So this is now junk. You probably could lineage this crank, but it's really hard to get bearings for these. It's really hard to get parts. My belief is there's still a patent in place for this particular engine's internal components. So your options really are second-hand. You're dragging something out of a paddock that you don't know the history of, rebuilding this, which is challenging to get parts for, or we've now actually managed to source brand new 0 kilometers from VM in the crate.
Yeah, boy.
Ready to go engines. We can get them now. Dollars-wise, we're talking Australian dollars here. You're still looking at somewhere between 14 and 16 grand for the motor. It comes as a long motor, so it has the cylinder heads on it and the timing chains. And then you've still got your labour to swap all your ancillaries over and put it in. So it's starting to get better. There are options out there now that are more readily available than what was, but it's still a costly mechanical failure. So obviously before engine teardown, we knew there was a major problem. Well, we knew from the sound the thing made when it drove in. But yeah, pull oil filter out full of metal and then pull the pan off the sump and discovered this. All over. Very good.